Today we're going to be talking about Google Scholar, what it does, why it's so important for research papers. And first, to understand what Google Scholar does, I think you need to understand what it is that Google does. Google, even though you may be in the habit of using it to write research papers in your early years of high school, as you move into your junior and senior year of high school, and definitely as you move on to um, college, then you are looking for a different type of information. So if we go to Google, we're going to type in the name of a American novelist, Colson Whitehead, and we type it into Google. We see that he has his own website. There's some biographical information on him there. There's a Wikipedia page about Colson Whitehead, a Time Magazine article, Amazon.com, Twitter, Goodreads, where you'd find some information about his books, some interview type articles, one from The Guardian, which is a British website. You could actually get some quotes from Colson Whitehead. So if you were writing a paper just about who Colson Whitehead is, this information is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But realize that Google itself just gives you the information that sort of a general reader would be looking for. Someone who knows nothing about Colson Whitehead types his name into Google, it's going to give you the stuff that's going to tell you in basic terms who Colson Whitehead is. Now, if instead of doing this, if we go to Google Scholar, which you can actually Google Scholar, or you can just type in scholar.google.com, and it takes you to a page that looks a little bit different. We're going to type in Colson Whitehead's name here again, and we get a list of scholarly articles. These are articles from academic journals, from books. What you're getting here that's different, this is not information this is information that's kind of assuming you already know who Colson Whitehead is. You've probably read one of his books, and you're looking for someone else's insights into what he writes. You're looking for somebody to give you some additional context for his writing, and to kind of pull some meaning from what he's written. So if you're writing a paper where you yourself are trying to make sense of Colson Whitehead's writing, then you are ready for Google Scholar, because you want to see what other people see, what other people say. You want to use their insights within your own writing. Some things different on this Google Scholar page. Underneath the article topic, you will see the name of the author. You'll see the name of the journal. This is from the African American Journal, 2007. Now, right away, this is a living author that we're dealing with. So we can sort by relevance. We can also sort by date, and we get some more, some different types of things. His most recent novel is a book called Nickel Boys. And so Nickel Boys is what comes up first when we change it from relevance to date. When we were on relevance, there were a couple articles that kind of put him with other authors, Toni Morrison and Colson Whitehead. Colson Whitehead, The Post-Racial Voice of Contemporary Literature. That one's from 2015. And we're going to click here on Since 2019. And we're going to notice here that on the side of some of these articles, we see PDF, okay? And that means without even clicking on, I don't even have to go to Critique Studies in Contemporary Fiction. I don't need to go to that website. I can just click over here on the PDF file, and it instantly pops up on my computer. I have the file right in front of me. And there's an abstract. I can take a look at the abstract. You'll see those. That's a difference between the type of information you're going to find on Google Scholar versus just on Google. So this, again, is going to give you some information that's going to let you know if this is really what you're looking for. Is he even talking about the same novel that you've read? If this article isn't doing that, then you want to go back and you want to look at some other ones. Now, if it doesn't have the PDF, you don't have to give up hope. You can still click on the article title, and here we see an abstract, and here we see also that we can download the PDF here. So even though it wasn't out to the side, that doesn't mean when you go to the page that you're not going to get there. Now, I don't go to the University of Greenwich, so I'm not going to be able to get that one. That doesn't mean you can't find it anywhere. It just means on this particular website you're not going to get it. So generally speaking, if you are not enrolled at a university, if you're a high school student, you're going to be looking for these PDFs out to the side. Now, some of these articles, if you look at the title, you'll notice they're in different languages. Colson Whitehead is an author with an international reputation, so a lot of this isn't even in English. So you want to be careful about that too. And so if we wanted Colson Whitehead, and then we wanted one of his most famous novels is Underground Railroad. So when we put that in, we get more specific. And these are going to be articles that actually deal with his book Underground Railroad. Assuming that's the book you read, then this is absolutely going to be what you want. And we do have some PDFs out here to the side. So we can click on those PDFs. Sometimes the PDF opens directly, sometimes it opens down here in the left-hand corner of your screen, and then you click on it and we get some additional information here. So this is just kind of the starting point of Google Scholar. This shows you some of the different types of things you find when you go to Google Scholar, rather than if you just go to Google. Another thing I'm going to show you here really quick is, let's go back to the main Google page, and we type in Macbeth, and we type in gender roles. Let's say you're writing a paper on gender roles in Macbeth, and brought me to Google Scholar. I need to get to just Google here. Okay, let me show you first what you see on Google. Google takes you there. This first thing where it says scholarly articles, Google is actually saying, hey, you need to be using Google Scholar. The first thing that comes up are scholarly articles. In fact, if we click on that, we will in a second, it takes you to Google Scholar. But people ask, what are the gender roles in Macbeth? So again, Google's giving you the things that most people are looking for on Google. So we find Cliff's Notes, study.com, we see Shmoop here. These are the websites that are meant to kind of explain Macbeth to someone who either didn't get it, or to someone who is looking for someone else to kind of tell them the story without necessarily reading it yourself. So you would not use CliffsNotes or study.com as a source for a college research paper, or for a paper that your senior English teacher has asked you to do. So we're going to click on the scholarly articles. It takes us to Google Scholar, and instantly here we see that there are articles from a journal called College Literature, from a book called The Land of Macbeth. There's something even from the Journal of Evolutionary Psychology, which is doing a gender and personality study of the characters in Macbeth. It looks like Lady Macbeth in particular. So you can be selective again about what sources you're going to use based on what you're writing about in your own paper. So Google, great for basic information, but when you're trying to figure out what you're really thinking about a work of literature and want to see what other people think, then Google Scholar is 100% the place to go.